Divinely blessed with the melanin, baby, you know that we winning. No time for the long talk, got 120 on the clock. Wednesday 8 through 10, all the bad vibes better stop. Cause you gotta come with that energy. Casual convos, baby, come down and just sit with me. Lil' Coco be spitting that remedy. Casual convos, baby, come down and just sit with me. You better take this shit serious. She dropping knowledge on head and it's free for the play. Tap in right now if you curious. We got the ham radio going lit every A. We go from people to family to pilots. Stay with me if you got something to say. Know it's important if we go acknowledge. Speak on the business and get out the way. What you gonna say about my mama? She winning, you rockhead.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wu-Tang Wednesday. This is the Casual Convo Show, where we had conversations about topics that affected the community's personal and business relationships. We always have the casual convo, so you and me don't have to have the tough convo. I'm your co-host, Idris, a.k.a. Boscoe from the Bronx, and I got my host, the one who put me on to the break of dawn. Coco's in the building, y'all.
Hey, y'all. What's up?
Nothing. What up? There she is!
You ain't see me waving.
I'm here.
Hey, I was like, man, she gotta come on today.
Yes, I am here. Technical difficulties,
Welcome.
but I'm here to save the day.
We're gonna do a mental health check-in first. Then we're gonna introduce you, so everyone knows who you are.
Okay.
All right, Coco, how you been?
Oh wow. Oh, let me start.
Oh yeah.
We just gonna say, I'm gonna say it's okay. Considering some things. I'm just listen. My mental health is a work in progress, y'all. But listen. I'm here. I'm good. I'm positive, and listen. I'm gonna always have a smile on my face, and I'm gonna always stay positive. So that's the important part. It's when I'm not positive that y'all should be right.
And you're gonna always have them lionesses coming at me too.
No, I'm not. That be you.
Have the whole crew coming at me in full force.
And then I'll be trying to save you, and then you'll be like, no, because no, hold on.
As for me, my mental health is good. It's a big long day today. What's up, Lisa? Long day today, but all's good. Now we're going to introduce our guest, military veteran. How long you been in there? Like about 20 years now. We got
Not that long.
She's been in there a while, y'all. Military veteran, community activist, fights for women's rights, fights for everything, fight for the kids, fight for the people. We got Asheville City Council candidate India Maria Pearson. What's up, Hurricane?
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. We got her on here today. She's running for Asheville City Council, something that a lot of us in Asheville has been waiting for a long time. I've always told her, people's always said, why don't you run? Because you're out in the community doing everything. And this is it right here. Let me get with my thoughts right quick, and we're gonna jump right into it. Well, my thoughts.
You just let them know where Asheville is.
Oh, it's in North Carolina. My bad. Western North Carolina. It's a metropolitan area now. It's not far from Greenville. Maybe an hour and a half west of Charlotte. It's a big mecca. A lot of people came from here. Oprah Winfrey has a house here. Leonard Little, Super Bowl champion, was born and raised here. John Avery. A lot of people came from here. Mickey Marvin used to play for the LA Raiders. A lot of people came from Asheville that you don't know about. Moms Mabley lived 30 minutes from here, or 40 hour from here. Oh my God, I just had her name in my head. Oh shoot. She was raised in Murphy. Oh man, I can't think of her name. Man, Nina Simone. She was born not far from here, but she went to school here in Asheville. Yeah, Asheville's a small little spot in the mountains, but a lot goes on here. Very metro. All right, for our thoughts today, I just think we just need to start. I see how music is really influencing us, and it's influencing the wrong way. We all know this, and I think there's a shift in it now, but we need to maintain our culture because there's a thing they say they love our culture, but they don't love us. So we got to maintain our culture and stop fighting each other over. Gladys Knight is another one. Yeah, we gotta stop fighting about who owns a culture, and we need to embrace it and push it forward as one. Stop fighting over it. Stop saying we did this, we did this. You're old or you're new. Let's say, look, it's our stuff. We got to keep it moving. You got anything to say, Coco? You gonna really pass today?
Yeah. Let's just say for the next hour, Boscoe is going to be leading with the interview of his beautiful daughter, who is the candidate for City Council of Asheville, North Carolina. We are happy to have you. I'm just going to sit back, get educated. You know, I'm PRN, right? PRN.
Okay, we're going to start it off like this. What's up, Paul? Paul Howe, local person to North Carolina, Asheville. First question, of course, introduce yourself.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, of course. My name is India Pearson. I have resided in Asheville for the last 18 consecutive years. I was actually born here, wasn't raised here, but I've been here for 18 consecutive years. And then prior to that, on and off. Yeah, again, it's a pleasure. I do have a military background. I'm a mother of 5 beautiful children, wonderful children. I have a military background I've been in since '07. I've been able to travel the world, to include outside of the U.S., like Germany and Czech Republic. I enjoy, serving my country. I enjoy working with my community, and especially within the community that I live in. I don't mind representing my community, which is part of why I have decided to run for city council. So I should have ran probably 7 years ago, but I was like, you know what? I am done with politics. I don't have time for it. I'm not doing it. So I continue to work in the background. And so now to challenge myself and to really continue to serve my community in a greater capacity, I decided to run for city council. I've been recognized as one of the women of color leading change here in Asheville and Buncombe County. I've also been one of the speakers for the Women's March on Asheville, which was over 10,000 people attended that. So, I've been doing the work. I'm just finally coming to the forefront rather than working in the background.
Yes. Also, Coco, I also told you how I was homeless. That was my backbone right there. That was my backbone for real. All right, let's go to the next question.
I'm sorry, I told you I was on mute. You gotta let me find a button. Okay.
That was my strength right there.
Tell, though, what if it's not too much? What branch of the military were you in?
Oh, Army. So I didn't say that, and I am still in the Army Reserve. Yes. I am the automated logistics specialist. I am the maintenance control sergeant of my section. So I always lead the way, and I lead by example. And yeah, I started off as a diesel mechanic. And then it's crazy because I was a bridger, and you have to be physically fit and strong to do that. And I did it, and I said, no more. I want to be girly. I have my nails now. And so now I'm an automated logistics specialist for the Army Reserve.
She did it, and she's tiny, y'all. She did it, and she's tiny. Shout out to Wyman Franklin. He's the other half of the people who built her. Shout out to Wyman Franklin.
I just got one more question.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I told you I wanted you to ask questions. She's like,
no, it's just related to, because we always see the men in the military, and we always hear about their experience. If you want to, because I know that wasn't on a thing, and I was kind of intrigued to hear you talk about it, how successful your military career has been. What was your experience like as a woman in the military? What was that experience like for you?
Well, I loved it. And being in the military, you notice that, some females have to work a little harder. And have to be a little tougher. For example, my drill sergeant, she was very, very, very tough. I love it, but she was very tough. And sometimes you have to be that way, and you don't want to compare yourself to a male, because men are men, will never be men. period, point blank. But you have to, when I went for the Bridger course, like literally there was one standard and I had to meet that standard. There was no, oh, we're going to cut you slack. No, you had to be built army strong to go through that. And I was the only female in that particular course. So, you do sometimes feel like you have to prove yourself. But for me, I'm going to be me regardless. So, I'm going to do what I can do and I'm going to push myself. And if somehow my best isn't good enough, it is what it is at that point. But I've enjoyed my time in the military. I've never gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? It's a bunch of BS. No, it's really not. It's an experience. It's a once in a lifetime experience. So I would encourage anyone, if you are considering it, go ahead and do it. If you feel like, oh, I'm not fit, oh, they'll get you fit. Don't worry about that. You know what I mean? If you're like, oh, well, I don't have the money, don't worry about that. They give you socks, your underwear, they give you everything that you need start you off. So, I really encourage folks to do that.
Exactly. That's yeah.
It's the mindset. It's mindset. That's what it is. You have to have that mindset. You can be physically fit, but you need to have that mindset, and they'll help you build that mindset. Don't worry, you'll become disciplined. Because I'll tell you, when I joined, I had a little discipline. A little. And so when I first joined, I had blonde hair. It was all blonde. I had a blonde weave of sewing. And I'll never forget this drill sergeant. And she was tough she was so tough. Good God Almighty, I survived. But she said something to me, and I remember her saying, you need to stand at parade rest, soldier. And I did. And I put, I went in parade rest and I stuck my chest out. And I told her, this ain't BK. You can't have it your way. Lord.
Yes, you are your father's daughter.
Let me tell you something. I would not encourage anyone to do such a thing. Okay, let me just say that. And I survived. I definitely survived, but I would not encourage anyone to do that. But the military has definitely taught me how to be more disciplined. And, I've used those skills in my civilian life and will continue to. But yeah, it's a wonderful experience.
Let me tell y'all.
Thank you for answering that.
I've seen her in action because I've seen her get like where I had to look back and be like, all right, I got you. I've seen it.
Yes, those were the days. So I have a lot of experience. Yes. He calls me Hurricane. But, I have a lot of experience in different sections of the world in my life and all that other good stuff. So I can speak to a lot of things. I may not speak on it, but I can speak on some things.
That's what I'm saying. All right. What influenced you to join the military, and what are some of the obstacles? I mean, you spoke about being a woman, but what are some of the obstacles that you faced early on going in? Enlisted and everything. This stuff about
So what I will say is, it's almost like something was embedded in my DNA to join the military. You know what I mean? And I have seen some of the commercials way back in, I guess, the early 90s or so, where it's like, oh, be all that you can be, army of one. I remember them running through the dirt and the mud. And I'm like, oh, I want to do that. But it was always something embedded in me that was just like, you want to join the military. This is what you want to do. I originally considered the National Guard. And, I was still in high school, and you are able to kind of dual enroll. You'll start drilling on the weekends. And then once you actually finish school, then you'll go to your basic training, your AIT and such, so it works in different ways. It's pretty flexible. It can be flexible. And so I started doing some of the paperwork, spoke to the recruiter, and then, 9/11 hit. Yeah. And he said, well, you can become, a truck driver. I'm like, a truck driver? Oh, okay. Well, I don't mind. I think I could do that. Well, little did I know, they were sending all of those 88 mics is what they are. That's CMOS. They were sending all of them across seas, war zone. And I had children. So I felt like that wasn't being considerate when it came to I had children, and for me to go into a war zone, there was always the chance that I may not make it back home. And I had little ones, and I mean like 1 and 2 year olds. So I decided, that's not best for me, because I felt like that recruiter wasn't honest about what was happening and wasn't honest about, where I could go with that MOS. Now, keep in mind, anytime you join the military, that is always the possibility. But during that time, that was not my time to join. And so, honestly, being honest and upfront is top priority for me. And that wasn't the case. So fast forward, I decided to go ahead and, years later, at this time, I think I had 3 children when I decided to join, and it was up ever since, you know what I mean? And I think that was probably one of my obstacles, because they were saying, hey, you'll have to sign over the rights of your children if you wanted to join the military. And I was not willing to do that at all. I wasn't going to sign over, my maybe temporarily, but not permanently. I wasn't going to do that. And so there was a way for me to sign a waiver to have, to sign over temporary custody during my, my AIT and my basic training while I was gone. And so that's exactly what I did. And from there, it was all peaches and cream. And
as many times, Coco, I said, if you ever go overseas, let me know. I'll be the babysitter. We got a question from Paul. Paul asked, did you experience any discrimination, especially against Black women?
So yes, honestly, I did. I'll give you an example. I was in AIT, and so AIT is where you actually go in to learn your job. So you have your basic training. That is where you're becoming disciplined, physically fit, and then you have your AIT, and that's your training for your actual job. And I'll never forget, I had my hair in braids, very similar to this, very similar in color. And I had a lieutenant walk up to me, and he said something about my hair. And so I looked at him, and one thing about me, anybody that knows me, I know the regulations. So if I have my hair a certain way or my clothing, wherever, I'll pull out the regulations on you real quick. AR 670-1 states XYZ. So he said something about my hair, and I said, well, according to AR 670-1, it states XYZ. And so I am within regulations. He said, he's like, no, it said it has to be of your natural color. I said, no, sir. It says of natural colors. That's what it states. And so he looked at me.
No stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. And he looked at me, and he was like, it's not every day that you see that. So I looked at him, and I spoke to my sergeant, like, do I need to file a complaint on him? Like, I need to understand, because you're not used to seeing African-American women with blonde hair doesn't mean that it does not exist, because it does. We have blonde hair, we have black hair, we have red hair, we have different color, eye color. So to say that, I was ready to file paperwork, because I'm that type of person. You will not disrespect me in that way. We're all serving our country. We're all here for a reason. You will not. I need you to learn your regulations too, respectfully, because I was a private.
Do you see why I call a hurricane? You see why I call a hurricane? Because once she gets started, you better get out the way. You better get out the way. Just wait till it calms down. Just wait till the hurricane calms down, and then Can you give us some background information about your community involvement? Like, what type of feedback you get from the community, stuff like that?
Okay, so I've always been a community advocate for number of years. I've helped out folks without a title, because a lot of times I'm just me. I'm human. I don't necessarily have to have a title, but happens so. I was voted in as the president of the Episcopal Association, and I was also voted in as the originally the vice president of the Residents Council of Asheville Housing Authority, and then the president of the Residents Council of Asheville Housing Authority. I was also on the board of Pisca Legal, and as you know, that's like a legal team for lower income, those that can't really afford to pay a lawyer, especially if you're getting evicted.
No, she'll log back in. There she go. Okay, she's back.
Did I go out?
You went out for just for a second, but you good. Okay. You good.
What did y'all hear?
Everything you said.
Oh, okay.
It went out like a split second.
the
That
organization for like low income and
Yeah.
yeah.
we're talking about
So I've served on the Pisco Legal Board for a number of years. So those are the type of things that I do. I've also worked for smaller organizations where we work with those that are living in marginalized community or lower income communities. We do job training. We meet you where you are and then help you or assist you to get to that next level. So those are some of the things that I've done. I've gone to court with some folks when it comes to housing authority, and there was some discrepancy in their amount of rent, how much they paid versus what was stated, and I've gone to court with them, and we've actually won cases because of an accounting error or something like that. So finding those little things, people coming to me for those, like, hey, I need those small details. So I do things like that. I volunteer my time. If I have the time, I'll volunteer my time. Now, what I will say is, for a long time, I volunteered without pay. And everybody knows you get burnt out by that. And you got folks that's making money off the back of you. So now I'm like, hey, I don't mind volunteering. I don't mind assisting, but I do need some moolah. Okay, I have a family too. And in order for me to continue to volunteer, I have to be compensated in some way. You know what I mean? I have to make sure I'm making ends meet too. So I've done I don't like to brag about what I do, but I've done a lot of things. And I have people that can, verify that information or say, hey, I've worked with India and this is what she has done. I don't like to put myself out there because I don't want to say, oh, hey, well, I did this for you. I did it from the kindness of my heart. So I don't feel the need to always say this is what I did. But trust me, my work speaks for itself. If you know me, then you know me.
It's not bragging, because I've seen it and a lot of other people seen it. I hear it all the time. Yo, India this, India da 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 da. So it's not bragging. People need to hear it, because some people do brag about it, but they do it just so they can get, self-gratification, but they're not really doing it, out of the bottom of heart. Well, I've seen you go out there and get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and come home at 10 o'clock at night, and you're laying back in your car sleeping, and I'm driving by, hey, you're like, I'm just unwinding. Yeah, I've seen you do it with all the kids, I've seen you do it.
Still do it.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I drive by and I'd be like, I'm not gonna say nothing.
So what is the community feedback that you've gotten when it comes to you volunteering, doing things, your community presence? What is some of the feedback that you've gotten, or what are some of the things? I'm quite sure they know that you're a candidate. Like they've maybe asked you, like, okay, we got this, or what would they like to see from you? And that's it.
What I will say is I do get a lot of thank yous and I appreciate it. And sometimes it's questioned like, well, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? Especially if you don't get paid for it. Well, why are you doing this? And that's just me. That's just the type of person I am. That's the heart that I have. Now, I will say, I don't think everybody understands what city council does. Because one of the first things I was asked when I'm like, hey, I'm running for city council, a lot of folks that know me are like, oh, that's great. That's great. Well, maybe you can do this for me when you get on there. Like legal issues, I'm not a lawyer. City council can't handle your legal issues. So unfortunately, I know you may think I'm a miracle worker, but not with city council when it comes to this. Now, what I can do is refer you to such and such or connect you with some other resource that may be able to assist you. But that's not what city council does. And so for me, when it comes to city council, I'm there because I want to represent the underrepresented or the unrepresented. I know what it's like to work for an organization or to run an organization with very little resources that they should and could easily get from the city of Asheville. But a lot of times, they're not seen, they're not given those, or they have to fight for crumbs. And so what I feel like we should be doing is investing in our community, incentivizing, engaging, and then continuing to encourage them. You understand? And I feel like when we do that, then we make our local economy even better. If we're incentivizing, some of these bigger businesses or these out of town, businesses, of course, they're making money off of us and they may be contributing to our local economy. But a lot of times some of that money goes elsewhere. We need to hear locally. So why not, invest in our local economy, our small businesses, our other nonprofits that don't get the recognition that is actually doing the work. I've been a part of some great organizations that is doing the work, but it's very hard for them to get funding for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And so I'm definitely trying to advocate for those organizations and for us to invest more in our local small businesses here and bringing, like I said, incentives for the businesses that are here, for the smaller local businesses. Again, when I say that that's what I'm advocating for, it does not mean that I am excluding anyone, but I need us to include those folks that we have not been including. I remember going to I want to say it was the Buncombe County Commissioners meeting, maybe, or maybe it was Asheville City Council. Either way, I was going to one of the meetings, and I remember standing there, and I was speaking on the behalf of an organization. There were a lot of folks, community organization, that were involved there too, and was trying to receive some, smaller funding. And then there was another organization that went up there, and I'll never forget. Wanda Green was in position at that time, and that's when she spoke of using some funding from some reserve to fund this particular bigger organization. And that's when the light bulb went. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. You mean to tell me there's a pot of there is a reserve that you can pull from? Oh, we need to be using some of that. And just so you know, I don't mean that we should just spend money recklessly. My background is in finance, bookkeeping, accounting. So I know the numbers. So if you telling me there's a reserve, and I saw how easily you said, hey, we should take from this pot of funds and and we can give that to them instead of them fighting over these, this pot of funds. I said, oh, the light bulb just went off. Okay, so we got a reserve here. All right, then that's what we need to be using, some of those funds, community economic development, for our local small businesses, if at all possible, within the legal parameters, and for these nonprofits. We do great work in Asheville. There are so many wonderful nonprofits that do so much great work, but they don't get the recognition. And those are the people that are on the ground doing the work every day. But you don't know that. You don't see that. But I'm trying to push for it within the legal parameters. And I feel like we need to set that standard in the city of Asheville within the legal parameters. So, yeah.
Okay, we got a guest. Are you there, guest? Hello, are you there, guest?
She's not there.
She's there, but she's not.
I don't think she can hear.
Well,
he gonna let us know
until the guest comes on. I got a question for you, but I got two questions. The first one, because you talked about business. Tell everyone about your own business.
Okay, I will do that.
She's laughing about.
So I am an entrepreneur. I've always, I've always said everybody's not made to work for someone. And so I have been working, with and for different organizations, but I also have my own business. So I have a catering company. I have a food trailer, and I also have a hot dog cart. So that's one. That's the whole catering. And then I also am, I'm a contract bookkeeper. So I do bookkeeping. I do the books. And yes, I do charge. But you better know that it's going to be right. So when you're audited or whatever may happen, those numbers are correct. I'm going to say, hey, this is what I feel like you need to do. So for quite a while, I was a finance director and operations deputy for a nonprofit. And anybody that worked under me, worked with me, they knew, like, I run a tight ship. This is what needs to happen, because if anyone was to ever come and ask any questions, we need our stuff in order. That's it. I think about liability. And as we know, and specifically with a lot of Black organizations, we get scrutinized a little more than other organizations. And that is the reality. So we have to make sure that we dot our I's and we cross our T's. And so with me being in certain positions, I ensure that I do that with my business. I also do that when it comes to, the other organizations that I work for, that I contract with. So, but yeah, as far as my business, I have a catering business, and also I'm a contract bookkeeper.
You didn't get the name of the business.
Oh, yes, I sure did not. It is Miss P's Caterings and Delicious Dogs. And so I'm trying to come up, I kind of want to more legitimize my bookkeeping side, my bookkeeping accounting type of business, consulting type of business. And so I'm coming up with a name, so I won't speak on what that is because I may end up changing it. But anyway, but I do have contract bookkeeping, and that's just me as a sole proprietor at this point. And then I have Miss P's Caterings and Delicious Dogs, aka MP Caterings, aka Miss P's Delicious Dogs, because they are delicious.
They are. All right. Is our guest there now? Is our guest there now? Cisse, are you there? She still ain't there. She'll pop up eventually. Okay.
Let's look at the
I'm
private chat.
I'm having trouble with my internet.
But we
I
hear
don't
you.
know. So I've got it on my
We hear you.
my regular LG. You know, I'm
We
not
hear
really
you.
savvy. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, we hear
Well,
you.
thank you. Hello, everyone.
All right, you got a question
Hello,
for you got a
welcome.
question for your niece?
No, I just want to say that I'm extremely proud, and I think you're such an eloquent speaker. And I just can't say how blessed I am to say that you're my niece.
Well, thank
And
you,
I'm
Auntie.
so you're welcome.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It took a while to get you on, but we finally got you on here.
You're more than
Um,
welcome to stay if you want. You don't have to drop
I mean, yeah,
in.
you can stick around. You don't have to leave. I got a question. Another one. When did you decide that you wanted to run for city council, Asheville City Council?
So, literally 2 days before the applications, I decided. Like I said, I got a phone call and had some conversations, and I was really like, no, because I really do enjoy working in the background and not really at the forefront. That's the introvert in me.
Mhm.
I'll work in the background all day long. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I feel like, it's time.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it was almost like I had to be convinced, like, come on,
Yeah.
come. But at the same time, I really was like, you know what? It is really my time to make this happen. And I'm not trying to go on city council because I think I'm better than someone, or I'm like, oh, I'm
Right.
going to do better. That's not my stance. But I
Right.
am coming there to add to that. And again, I want to see what can we do as a city within the legal parameters to really,
Hmm.
again, invest in our community and make our local economy even better. And I'm talking about as far as the community safety, which involves a whole lot of things, not just APD, not just the police department or what. It's a
Hmm.
big involvement. It's a community wide effort. Not only with that, with housing. We know
Hmm.
that there is a housing crisis here in Asheville. We know that.
Hmm.
We need affordable, adequate, fair housing here in Asheville. And so
Hmm.
I want to see how far can we really push it within the legal parameters for affordable, fair, adequate housing. I really want to say, I want us to set the standard extremely high. So if anyone decides, oh, we want to build in Asheville, they already know, wait a minute, city council ain't playing that. Oh, no, 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 no,
Hmm.
no. This is what it is right here. We got high standards over here, and they're going to come correct. And they're
Well,
going to
please let
they're
me
going
know.
to contribute to our economy, not just from building these homes and making money off of it, but somehow there's a percentage, the same thing with like the TDA funds, the whole hotel, and they have a pot of funds that they contribute to. We need that. I think we need to implement that in every system that we have when it comes to,
Hmm.
especially those coming from the outside with deeper pockets. Hey, you want to come to our little town here? I need
Yeah.
you to invest in our community. You should invest in this pot of funds right here. I think we need to set that type of standard, because I've sat back and I've watched many city council meetings, and and I'm watching everyone and I'm hearing the responses, and I'm really trying to understand. And the first thing I said was, well, wait a minute.
Hmm.
We're talking about Section 8 vouchers or housing choice vouchers, or what they're called. And
Right.
we have some of these bigger developers coming in, and they're developing these nice apartment or homes, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna, we'll accept 2% of
Hmm.
housing choice vouchers. 2%?
Yeah.
That's one apartment. That's not
Yeah.
good enough. We need 20, 25%. Now understand that you're running a business. So let's talk numbers, but let's make it make sense. Again, not only are you, building your business and generating your revenue for you, but you are really contributing to the housing crisis here as a big developer. I'm not saying you can afford to lose money, but you can cut some slack. And you're being incentivized for building in our community. You're already being incentivized.
You know,
So we
Jacking up
need a
the
little
prices.
more out of them.
I
you
know
know,
we jack up
the
the
ex-
prices when it comes to, especially when it's the
Mhm.
vouchers. So
Yeah.
please let me
Mhm.
know how that go, because I see it every day. Like for instance, like here in Baltimore,
Hmm.
there'll be it could be a community where everything is pretty much ran down, no resources. No, it could be like
Mhm.
a food desert, no resources, no educational programs, no nothing, no job
Hmm.
readiness, nothing. And they like
Hmm.
2,500 for like a one bedroom. Well, but
Yeah.
we only,
Right.
and it's a only voucher. So the thing with the voucher program, yes, is beneficial for those who may get some, but then you gotta wait like 10,000 years before you get the
Yep.
voucher, and then then it's like you're overpriced, and then some people still gotta pay out of pocket. So I think
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to a lot of people when you mention affordable housing. I'm like, yes, please let me know so we can try to trickle. Mention that
Most
because
definitely.
I face that battle every day
Mhm.
doing what I do, trying to get people housed and working with homeless people and people who are getting vouchers and still having issues with the vouchers. There's so much in the
Mm-hmm.
system that works against people in low income communities, like you stated, and things like that. Because even if they have the voucher, they still got to go through the background, that is and that.
Mhm.
And let's
Yeah.
be realistic. Most of us in the communities
Yep.
have some type of background, some type of something, but then for the resources that they want to give you, they want to charge you for the resources. And
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
like if I need the help and I can't afford this because I'm trying to get this, help me, help me. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's just all like a greedy situation because they want to find some type of way to capitalize off of it. And that's the biggest issue. I think that the deeper the issue is like they're like, okay, we can do that, but we gonna up the rent.
You see, Coco, the problem here is Asheville is small. We have very narrow road streets. We got a few 4 lane, 5 lanes, but what the problem we have here, and me working in hotels, we have a lot of hotels, and they're always putting up hotels everywhere to where just drive. You would think if at rush hour here, you would think it in New York or Atlanta because you
Mm-hmm.
can't drive. Everywhere you go, there's a hotel. You got hotels across the street
Mm-hmm.
from each other. It's either hotels or churches. We don't have enough schools. We got hotels everywhere, and they're still
Where?
putting up hotels up right now. It's crazy. We got more hotels here than we probably have schools and banks combined, but we don't have
Mm-hmm.
affordable housing here. To get in like a 1 bedroom here might cost you $1,400. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy, and we're not Baltimore, or we're not New York, or we're not Philly, we're not Chicago, we're not Miami, we're not none of those. We're small. We're not even as big as Charlotte. It's cheaper to live in Charlotte than it is live here. It's insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
You want to read
I
some of the
wish you
comments?
all the luck with that. You gonna get in there. We ain't even gonna talk like you're a candidate. You in there? Okay, I'm going back on mute.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to ask you some of the problems. That was my next question. But you kind of already got that.
It's another
Mm-hmm.
question in the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. But you said what, Coco?
We can get to it later. It's another question. I type it in the thing.
Okay. Um, question. Do you have any aspirations of furthering your political career? Should you get elected for a seat, like maybe running for mayor one day, or this as far as you want to go? You knew that
So
question was coming, so.
the thought, and only
Mhm.
a thought, has crossed my mind, but really I don't know yet. I want to try this city council thing first, and I want to see how
Mhm.
that works and see how much change I can make along with the rest of the team. And then we'll see from there. Again, I'm not a politician, and I really don't like the negative side of politics. And I'm not
Yeah.
the one that stand and and I'll bash the next team. I say teammate, constituent, whomever. I'm not the
Mhm.
one that sit here and say, oh, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that, and I feel like I'm good. Like, I'm not that. I don't play those type of games. So
Right.
if there is a way for me to continue to be me and not
Mhm.
compromise my integrity or anything else, um, then I may consider moving up. But otherwise, I'll do what I can do in city council capacity or whatever capacity that there may be.
You want to read Paul's comment, Coco? Yeah.
You are determined to get me off of a
You
mute.
know, you know, I just had cataract surgery, so my eyes got to adjust to the screen.
That's what we're gonna do tonight. You got these glasses on. You got these glasses on,
Hey,
looking
they don't
real
have no
like
lenses in them.
you
See,
got.
there's no lenses in them.
Bro.
Can't read the comments. You good at that?
Okay, this one is from Paul. I think he's also where you are.
Yeah, he
Paul
is.
said, "Well, right now they accept a bare minimum for affordable housing. it doesn't help when you have city council giving away money for affordable housing to be built, yet the houses being built weren't unaffordable housing. What are you going to do differently?
So I think I kind of explained that already. Again, I'm going to do what I can within the legal parameters. And again, I want us as city council to set the standard high. I understand. So my thought was, okay, we're city council. Let's sit here and say you are required, if you want to build here in the city of Asheville, these big developers or whoever, if you want to build here in Asheville, you must, accept 30% voucher, recipients.
Yeah.
Well, legally, we can't do that. So again, I'm going to try to find some way within the legal parameters to get the rest of the team, because there are some folks on there that is for affordable housing, and not just affordable housing, but deep affordable housing, such as if you're making $15 an hour type of housing. Because the reality is there's a lot of folks here that are not making a living wage, that are not making $20, $21, $22, $23 an hour. And we know that a lot of the fast food places are not, and we know that a lot of the hotels are not paying that, who could potentially afford to pay that. So again, for me, and along with the rest of everyone that is on city council, either the new candidates or who are currently there, it's working with them, figuring out how far can we go when it comes to this. We have solutions. Can we legally do this? Can we legally say this? So I'm going to try to do whatever I can within the legal parameters. And that's why they have a lawyer on the team. So
can I clarify one thing? This is not for you. So to the to our audience, you guys have amazing questions, but I get your point on the legality of everything that you can do. So I think it's important, even as like voters, we got to have realistic expectations of what can be done. And sometimes there's some cleanup work. A person can't just go in and then tomorrow everything is like, flowers and candy. So I did see something about reparations. That's a deeper conversation that goes beyond, in my opinion, the city council. That's something that should be addressed with the community itself. You got to get, I don't care where you are, Asheville, Baltimore, New York, the community has to get together, especially the African American community. Until we can do that, we can't expect for a local government, any government, to get that done unless we can actually have a voice to back it up and put certain things in place. So when we ask people these questions, first we got to start with, how do we get the community together, which is, I think, what I'm hearing from you is, I want to bring the community together so that we can get towards the point of change. So, I just want to go into realistic expectations.
Okay.
And we definitely do. Just
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yes, I am going to be able to assist when I get on, city council, based off of, my knowledge and my background, based off of my supporters. But it is definitely going to take us as a community, and we have to be in position when these changes take place. When the city says we are able and we are ready to invest in these communities and these organizations, we have to be ready and in place. And if we're not ready, it's not going to do us any good. So I'm advocating for this, but at the same time, I'm letting my community know, hey, we need to go ahead and get in position. So when it happens, we are ready. That's the same thing with the reparations. I am not involved, and I've said this before. Someone asked me a question about reparations. I am not involved with the reparations conversation. I can't be everywhere at one time. So I'm going to leave it up to the experts. Those who are already on there doing what they do, that is wonderful. I know it's taken a while. I'll let them do what they do. I'll wait for the outcome or wait for them to ask for some additional input or whatever. But I don't say too much when it comes to that, because I'm going to leave it to the experts. And that's what I'm going to call them, the experts on that, because I have nothing to do with that. I saw a comment about, I guess it was from Paul. We have a Black woman on there now that have turned their backs on the very people that voted for them to be on council. This stuff with hotel, bike lanes, breweries are doing nothing for the Black community. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. What I will say is you will not hear me sit on anybody's platform and bash any black woman, whether I agree with her or him or whatever or not. I'm not going to bash them. Now, if I see that they could have done something a little better or I have some ideas, I'll pull them to the side. We can have a conversation, but I'll never bash a black woman that is on city council to say blah, blah. I mean, maybe I see what you see, maybe I don't, but I won't bash them. But what I will say is, again, I get on city council. If there is something that I have seen, I will have that conversation, with them. I'm already prepared for a couple of conversations. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you. But again, I will never, call out any black woman and when it comes to that. And then you mentioned something about the stuff with the hotels and the bike lanes and the breweries is doing nothing for the black community or whatever. Again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But what I will say is everyone doesn't have transportation. Every black individual that lives in Asheville doesn't drive a car. They don't ride the transit. They don't catch Ubers or can afford to catch an Uber. There are some that may even ride bicycles or may walk. So, I think the bike lanes work for everyone. Sometimes I want to take a walk. Sometimes I want to ride a bicycle, in which I have. I used to ride my bicycle to work sometimes or whatever. Sometimes you want that exercise, so I'm all for the bike lanes and the walk lanes. And I'm all for it because if because Paul, you live in Asheville, you know how it is on Hendersonville Road. And we know how many deaths have occurred on Hendersonville Road because are there any bike lanes? Any that folks on motorcycle, bicycles, on foot, on mopeds have gotten killed. So I'm all for the bike. I don't think it's just for black folks. I think it is, just for white folks or other. I think it is for everyone. And I think sometimes we need to change our mindset. I know you may not see that as a priority, but it does actually help everyone. It does keep everyone safe. I understand this thing about the big hotels and whatnot, and I definitely understand about the breweries. But instead of us complaining about it, what can we do? How can we make that work in our favor? What I will say is some of these breweries, because again, I worked for some nonprofits. I worked for them. I work with them, whatever the case may be. They have donated funds to some of these nonprofit organizations that is out here doing the work. So maybe it just takes a conversation with some of these breweries, some of their CEOs, executive, whatever the case may be, whatever the title is, making that connection and saying, hey, this is some work that I'm doing, or I know of a great organization and I know you're in our neighborhood and people out here celebrating and drinking all that beer all day. How can you assist us? What can we do, for it to mutually benefit all of us? Sometimes you got to have those conversations. And I know for a fact, there are some breweries that have specifically said, hey, I want to support, some of the black initiatives or black folks in the community, or I know for a fact there are some that have had these fundraisers specifically for a specific cause. So you just have to build that relationship, put yourself out there, Paul, because I know I've seen you in action, Paul. So I need you to take that energy and go to some of these places and let's make some things happen. So we can't always say, we can't always look at it in that way. Let's switch it up a little and say, well, you know what? We know they're here. We know they're going to be here. They ain't going nowhere. So how can we benefit from them being in our community? That's how we got to look at that.
I know I frequent the bike lane. You know me. I'm always on the bike lanes. I use the
I'm sorry.
We got a caller though.
Yeah, we've been having somebody waiting very patiently.
Yeah.
Rainey, welcome to the Casual Combo Show. How are you? Are they still there? Oh, okay.
Oh well. Yeah, I agree with that because I think we need to, you just said it, we need to start having conversations with places because some of the breweries have helped out a lot. I've seen it myself. And with the bike lanes, I think that's something that's for everyone because you know me, I ride my bike when it's warm. And I used to hate riding around going to AB Tech and that curve, and we talk about Hendersonville Road, it's dangerous because everyone's flying. That's one of the busiest roads. And but I agree. Okay.
And just to, I see, Paul, you say you're not bashing, you're stating facts from what you've seen and spoke against. And I know that you are on it, Paul. I have seen you on every social media platform that I'm on, at least. I've seen you. So I know that you're on it. And again, if you know that there's a person of color or whoever it may be, if you know that we voted for them because we did put them in there and they're going against what they originally said, then you do call them out. But again, you meet with them and you say, hey, let me check you real quick. I gotta let you know. I don't agree with this. You do remember this is what you said on such and such date. This is what you ran on, and that is what got you into office. And so we have to understand, us as candidates, us that are city council and just humans in general, the people put us in these positions. And they can have us removed from these positions. That's number one. And again, if I said something and then I went back on it, I expect you to come and have a conversation with me, because maybe it's not like how you thought. Because I tell you what, we're thinking one thing, but when you sit in that seat, it's a whole nother ball game. You don't know what really goes on. We don't know what really goes on. You know what I mean? And I'm real curious about that too. Again, everybody that knows me, I'm going to maintain my integrity, and I am going to speak. When something ain't right, I'm going to let you know that it don't sit well with me in my soul. I can't sleep at night because of it. I'm going to let you know. You know what I mean? So I think we just need to have those conversations, Paul. And again, I think you should pull whomever aside and have that conversation. You know what I mean? Have a little forum or whatever it is. But we need to make that happen.
There we go. Here's the final question. It's the big question. And then we're gonna let you go, because I know you got things you got things you got to do.
Hold on. I'm sorry. 1 second. Hi, Rainy. How are you?
Oh, Rainy's there. Okay.
Thank you for being patient. Welcome to Casual Convo.
No problem. It's been a minute. I just want to say that I'm so proud of my cousin. She is amazing, and she's always doing her part to be active in the community. And, I say it in private, but I also want to say in public, if you ever need me for whatever reason, I am here. I am one of your biggest supporters, and I will never stop.
Oh, that's Marina.
You know what? I didn't know who that was at first.
I was listening to the voice.
I had to think about, cuz I said, who is this?
I'm sorry. That was so wretched. I'm sorry. Let me go back to being professional. I'm sorry.
We were all sitting there like, okay, cousin. I'm like, I don't know this cousin. Maybe
I caught on. I caught on.
I didn't catch on till the very end. By the time you showed up. Anyway, man, it's been a good interview. But I still got another question for you.
I'm here.
This is the what they call the $6 million question, or 64,000, whatever it's called. Is there anything you like to tell our audience and the community? Why should they vote for you?
In Asheville, because J Bear thinks he can vote for her in Baltimore.
Did she? Oh, I think she got cut off.
No, I didn't get cut off.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, you're there.
I had to restart my laptop, so I can see myself on the laptop now, but I can't. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm back on the phone. So, is there any reason why I should be voted on city council?
No. Let me rephrase that. Let's see. Is there anything you like to tell the audience or the community why they should vote for you?
Or how would you, and what would be the major influence to sway a person to vote for you as opposed to your opponents to make you the candidate that definitely needs to be in that seat?
Yeah.
Well, sure. So I'll say what I spoke about in a forum. So I said, I'm a natural born leader. I'm a woman of integrity. I'm a woman of understanding, and I believe in transparency. And I believe that I can add to city council, to those that are already on there or those that are coming in. I think that I bring another perspective to the table. And again, anyone that knows me, I am going to advocate, and I'm going to speak for the underrepresented and the unrepresented. There are plenty of us that are not being represented on that council now, and it's no fault to anyone, but we need someone that's going to be able to represent the other folks that are not being represented. So that's me, and that's why.
That's what I'm talking about.
Period.
We got anything in the thing?
Huh?
No, I'm looking, just checking out the comments. Let's see, yeah, J-Bad, she's a candidate here in Asheville, North Carolina, Western North Carolina. It's 1.5 hours west of Charlotte. Metro area.
We're not even gonna read that next comment because now Casual Convo audience is being the audience that we love so much. He said I don't know. I will. Lil, stop typing in all caps. I'm gonna do a long distance vote.
He spelled long.
Yeah, you have to excuse him. He's one of our special.
He types in caps, all caps.
He's one of our special people.
Special
But
ed.
So far, according to the comments, you have the support of us always. If there's anything that we can do, if you want to come back, throughout your campaign, please do.
Yeah.
For the platform, always welcome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Election is next month. Oh, this year she's back. Okay. Whew.
I switched. Now I'm on my laptop. I feel good now.
She got it now.
I was waiting for the folks to get it right. I was like, oh, here we go. And so I'm in there now.
Okay, when is election? When is voting?
So early voting on February 15th. It starts February 15th. And then, of course, the regular is March 5th. So it's a very, very quick turnaround for us as candidates. So I would really encourage you all to vote early, February 15th. Vote early. Tell your friends, your mama, your daddy, tell your ancestors. Please let them know that I'm here to serve you, to assist. So, yeah, February 15th, early voting. I'm going to push for early voting. Let's get in there early. And then May 5th.
When I do an edit of this video, I'm gonna send you a clip so you have your own interview. So it's just this. Like she said, I don't know if you heard. She said, if you need us again, we got you. This is your freebie. You gotta jump start on the other candidates. So you got a platform.
It doesn't even have to be just for that. If any time that you want to come on, be a guest, click the link. You're always welcome. Anytime a person is a guest over here, it's like you're a part of us. That's what we do. We want to spread awareness, educate, and you have a powerful voice. And
see, you know a lot of business too, and see, we have a lot of business shows.
And you got I can't say it yet.
And we can you could put
something coming up for business, so bring your business to Baltimore.
Yeah, and see, you know business and accounting, and see, we have shows talking about that, and bringing you on, you could talk about how you got started and everything else because so you know how to reach me. If you don't by now, so. But yeah, we're about to take a break. Y'all. Thank you. We just finished talking to India Maria Pearson, U.S. Army veteran candidate for Asheville City Council. Vote for her February 15th. I tell you, she knows what she's doing. She's been there. She's done that. She's been in the grind and all that stuff. She's not someone who just popped up out of nowhere and said, I want to run for City Council. She's seen it all, done it all, and she continues to do so. Yo, vote for her February 15th, Asheville City Council. Let's get out there, Black people. Let's vote. We need a change. We need a leader.
So I'm going to go ahead and say to you, congratulations. I know you're going to do great work in Asheville. It looks like you have the community support of Asheville, which is you're already winning just with that because you're actively in the community. A lot of people don't do the footwork. You've done the footwork. So I'm going to go ahead and say congratulations.
Yes.
Well, thank you. And just for correction, because a lot of folks say my name incorrectly, and I will nicely correct you after you put the period at the end of the sentence. So my name is India Pearson. That is IINDIA. It's a capital I, not a lowercase L. It's capital IINDIA. India Pearson. So when you see it on the ballot, it's not Linda, it's not Lydia, it's not Lydigo.
No, it's funny because when we were promoting the show, somebody was like, "Is it India?" I said, "I India." Look, I'm on.
Yeah, I put the apostrophe there because I know people are going to pronounce it wrong. Because I know how to put the two I's and be like Linda.
Look, working in the field, I just seen people do a name with L-A.
Because she hit me up. She said, "You know, I have an apostrophe."
I'm making an example. What does that spell? What name does that say to you? If somebody presents to you and their name is L-A, it's L-A.
L-A?
Ladasha.
Right.
So now you see what I'm saying. So sometimes you gotta.
Okay.
Ladasha. Yeah.
We got.
Hey, is Wyman Franklin.
There
he is.
It took you all day to get here, Wyman. Where you been?
Here.
Huh?
I mean,
oh, did he?
Yeah, they've been here. I seen them in the comments.
Oh,
I can see when they joined. They've been here. They just said something.
I shouted you out at the top of the show, man. But yeah, we about to take a break, y'all. Thank you, India, for coming to the show. Good luck February 15th. We got you. We know you're gonna win. We know you're gonna do what you got to do because we know you. We love you, and we're gonna see you then. Come back to the show. You're always welcome.
We see y'all after the break. Don't go nowhere. Me and Bosco be back.
We about to take a 5-minute break, y'all. We'll be back. She's in the building, y'all. We out.
Playback.